Development Review Board of Burlington for August 2nd. And I'm assuming there's people here that I'll just say that we take up items that they are on in the agenda. And when we do call each item, we ask the people who are going to speak, either participants or public that wants to make comments, Scott will admit them to the meeting to participate, and we will swear people in as necessary. I will say on the agenda that 3 items have requests for deferral. And if people are here for 362 South Union, 8688 North Winooski, or 136 Sunset Cliff, we're not planning on discussing those tonight. So you may not want to stick around for that. Communications, everything is posted online, right, Scott?
Yep.
Minutes, I may have one or two minutes I have to sign. I'll double check that. So it brings us to our consent agenda, which is 7779 Pine Street. Is the applicant here for that?
Yep. Great.
And,
You can
and
talk.
Chris,
Hello.
Chris should also be, Chris should join as well from GBA.
Grace, are you with Nettie?
I am with Nettie, so I'm representing Nettie.
I see Chris is here too. So this is on recommended for consent. So I'm assuming you've seen the staff's report and recommendations. Is that correct, Grace?
Yes, I have, and you know, I'm not sure. Do the members here feel familiar? Are you familiar with kind of our ask initially? And
This is recommended for consent, which is
yes, right.
that unless somebody objects to it, we're going to approve it.
Good.
So
Sorry, Brad, I wasn't sure. Wasn't sure if you wanted me to say something. Meeting.
you could. I mean, we've got a short meeting, so you may, if you have a poem you want to read or something like that, I guess we can go for it. But right now, I think we'll stick with the agenda item.
Definitely, I'm good.
Okay. So does anybody on the board object to treating this as a consent item? I don't see anybody. And Scott, is there anybody in the public who wanted to comment on this?
If you'd like to comment on the 79 Pine Street application, raise your hand, please.
No.
I guess not. Jay raised his hand and lowered it. So we'll take that as a no.
Okay. So would somebody on the
All right. So his hand is up again now, Brad. So we'll take that as a yes.
Okay, can we find out who that person is?
Yep.
Jay White, did
Yep.
you want to speak on the 7779 Pine Street on the request for changing the compliance for their mechanical system screening?
No, I just want to confirm that as a neighbor, we support what Nettie wants to do.
Okay, good.
We
Okay,
got that letter. Yeah.
I'm sure that they'll be happy for that. Great, thank you. So.
I'll
does
make a
anyone on the
motion,
board
Brad.
want to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
On ZP 22-398, 7779 Pine Street, I move that we approve the application, adopt staff findings and recommendations.
second, Jeff. Any discussion? All in favor?
Brad,
AJ,
I'm recused.
you're
Sorry,
recused,
yeah,
okay.
sorry.
So AJ's recused. Thank you. Then you're approved for your alternate.
Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. There was a second item also under consent that has a request for deferral. Is that to a date certain, Scott? I don't have that right in front.
This was my project, Mr. Chair. The matter has been resolved outside of zoning, so the application now will be archived.
So we have no action we need to take.
You have no action you need to take. Thank you.
Good. Okay, then the next item that we're not going to hear is 8688 North Winooski. And that also, I don't know if you open it up. Was that also a request for deferral?
That is correct.
And do we need
To
to
a
make
date
a mo-
uncertain, we're not sure. They need to pay their application fees before we bring it forward.
So they don't have a complete application right now.
Correct, yeah.
So we're not under the time clock.
if the application?
I
is
guess-
complete?
Well, I guess we deemed it complete and then we went through DAB. And I saw that they didn't pay, it's a follow-up application that expired, so they reapplied. They haven't paid the new fees for the new application, but they also have violation fees pending from last year that are tagged on to this application. So they're questioning the violation fees, but anyways, it's pending payment, so it's a complete application. I don't know if that would have to fit within the 6 months time.
Do they, yeah, I think it does.
Oop,
Do
yeah,
they, does the applicant, is the applicant here?
I don't think so. I told them that we're just gonna defer it because of the lack of payment for the application fees.
So it sounds like we would not defer to a date certain if that's,
Yeah, uncertain.
so. I guess I'm curious, do clocks keep ticking on this one, or is this?
The clock will
time to
tick.
spend.
Yeah, the 6-month clock will tick because it was deemed a complete application a few weeks ago. So it's 6 months, but we can get you into a public hearing with DRB when they're ready.
So we want to make a motion to defer this to not a date certain.
So moved.
Second on that. Brooks. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you. We also have 136 Sunset Cliff. That was also, let's see what that one was. Deferral memo. I guess the Conservation Board wants to do a site visit before it gets referred to the DRB.
Yeah, they
So
looked at it
I-
last night and had questions. It's not a public hearing, so it doesn't need to be recessed to a date certain, but Conservation Board's aiming for first week in September. So I think this would probably be the second meeting in September.
Okay, and this is the September 12th meeting is the Conservation Board meeting, I take it.
Yes.
And that's mandatory, right? They have to go through the conservation board before, we couldn't hear it till they resolved it or till they heard it. Is that right, Scott?
You shouldn't hear it. Yeah.
And the applicant's again, okay with us? I gotta see a hand up. Is that the applicant's okay with us doing this?
Well, let's see, Bill. Let's see if that's Bill DeVos.
Hello,
Is this Bill DeVos or?
this is Bill.
Okay, great.
So I suggested that we have a site visit first week of September. I'm wondering if that site visit goes well, which I suspect it will, if we can, will we need to meet with you again after that, or can we kind of come to some resolution at this stage?
Well, the Conservation Board makes a recommendation to the Vale and Review Board, so it would be cart before the horse if DRB
Right.
acted on this without the Conservation Board weighing in.
Right, okay. I just read the little excerpt I was sent, and it seemed like seemed to have a favorable outlook, and so I was wondering if we need to wait for another meeting after the September 1st meeting. Not that I'm in any rush. I just, but Tom LaBeouf asked me to mention that.
Okay, well, we want to have the Conservation Board recommendation before we take our next step, so we'll wait for that.
I mean, I will note this was listed for consent approval. So assuming the conservation board's okay with it, it should be relatively quick at our next meeting.
Great.
Should be.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Scott,
folks.
do we have to recess it to a date certain?
No, it's not a public hearing, but we'll put it on the second September meeting.
So we don't need any action on this.
Your action would be to defer, period.
Well, a motion to defer this item.
So moved.
Jeff, second. Chase. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, well then we have one other item of other business. And this is a request for reconsideration of our decision to grant an appeal for the administrative denial on 203 South Cove Road. And I think maybe we all remember what that was, that we felt that the front yard setback, which the zoning ordinance tries to create, following the neighborhood patterns, I think our view was that it ended up.
Brad, and as you know, I'm recused on this.
You're recused on this, okay.
Wasn't this on the last meeting agenda too, by the way?
Yeah, and it was deferred to this meeting along with the annual reorg.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right.
So I see Stan Weinberg is here and he has his hand up, but we're not really actually doing anything with this item other than the request for reconsideration.
We first have to decide if we are reconsidering, and then we would set a time to take evidence. Is that right, Scott?
Right, so it's a two-step process for reconsideration. One is, you're right, board needs to decide whether or not you want to reconsider it or entertain a reconsideration. And the second step is, if you do decide to reconsider it, then we would schedule a hearing on the merits and get into the weeds. So I have a brief comment just to frame this to the board, if I may. Okay. So I'll start out by pointing out acknowledgement.
Brad, I'm just going to jump in procedurally.
Yeah.
I don't think you can let the requesting party speak and not the other parties. If it's just the board to consider it, then the board has to just consider it.
So typically the request for reconsideration, the requester says why without getting into the weeds of the merits. But I'll leave it to you, right? Especially because this is an appeal of an administrative action.
And I think maybe we're all sort of aware of what the issue was with this thing, that we felt that we could make a different interpretation of the zoning ordinance relative to this item. And there's no doubt that we went a little over our skis on this one, maybe, but it also, I think we had a conversation about it. So how do people feel about this one? Whether it's something we want to revisit?
I would not like to revisit it. I feel like the process happened as it should, and having ideally, you know, if a scenario like this came up again, if there were additional evidence, I would expect staff to have it from the start. I don't know, it feels odd to have the back and forth on overturning the appeal. It feels like that's what our role should be, and going back on the overturning, it seems very convoluted.
I agree with that. I think we talked about it. We made our decision. I'd like to move forward.
I also agree that just for the sake of process that we should move forward. It's interesting to me, though, that at the last meeting, there was a request to reconsider, and we did take it up. I believe I understand why we took that one up, and some of this, I agree, is a case-by-case basis. I lean towards not reconsidering, even though I voted against this, but I also want to see some consistency, I think, and I just think that we should, amongst ourselves, know when we're going to reconsider and when we're not going to.
I think the last meeting, we just postponed this decision so that folks who.
Yeah, it was a different issue, Chase, that we, yeah.
Something on Lakeview, was it Lakeview Terrace?
That one was not an appeal, though. That was our decision on the initial application. So I do think that is different than what we're talking about here, Leo, if that makes you feel more comfortable.
Any thoughts, Jeff?
Well, I was not here for the decision on the underlying case, so I don't think I'm going to participate in the decision on whether to reconsider, but I guess just as a policy matter, I think those considerations are always going to be pretty fact specific. So it's hard to have sort of a standard rule to say, yes, we reconsider in these circumstances and no in those.
So we have a request. I guess take a vote on whether we grant the request for reconsideration.
Do you need a motion?
Yep.
I move that we deny the request for reconsideration on ZAP 22-2203 South Cove Road.
And
I'll second that.
Brooke seconds it. Any discussion? All in favor?
I am really sorry. I was muted. I just want to say one thing, and that is that I'm pretty sure, but I just want to confirm that we all agree that the issues raised in the request for reconsideration, those I believe were all things that we considered at the initial meeting, right? And I just want to agree on that.
You're
right.
referring to the memo that we had from staff.
Okay.
Yeah, it was decided on a pretty narrow basis. That's what we did. And I think that's the issue the staff disagreed with us on. So,
Okay.
motion, second,
And I'm recusing myself from the vote.
all in favor of denying the request for reconsideration? And it's 5 to 1 abstention. Okay, good. Okay. So that is, AJ, you're back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So we now have our annual organizational meeting. We bring out our political buttons and banners and slogans, right? So we have to elect board chair, vice chair, ordinance committee members, and long-range planning committee members. So I've enjoyed being, I guess I will start with the chair. Yeah, I can do this way. I would say I've enjoyed being chair for a number of years, and I think I'm now ready to not be chair. So I'd like somebody else to be nominated for this position. So do we have any nominations for the chair?
I would nominate AJ LaRosa to chair the Development Review Board.
I'll second that. Any other nominations? Well, I think I can.
You accept the nomination?
Okay, sure, thanks. Not nominating myself, but sure, I'll do it.
Okay.
Are you going to vote for yourself?
Yeah, but we'd have to vote. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, how about all in favor of AJ becoming chair of the GRB? Okay, unanimous. Congratulations, AJ.
Great, thanks.
You want to start now?
So it's your meeting.
Okay, we need a vice chair. I'd like to nominate somebody. I think Caitlin would be a good vice chair.
Sounds good. I'll second that.
I like that.
All those in favor? Also unanimous. Caitlin, great.
All right, Caitlin.
Would you like to know when I'm not here?
When you're refused.
Or next meeting? No. So we need long-range planning, ordinance committee. Do we need something else, Scott?
That's it. I mean, there's wording about the clerk, but the clerk is the zoning tech who is Joseph.
Who's on the ordinance committee currently?
Right now we have 2, but that's going to slim down to 1. So
Leo,
you need to
like
arm wrestle between the 2.
Leo, would you like to continue to serve on the ordinance committee?
I would.
Great.
right.
You
I'll
might hear
nominate
something
Leo.
about Airbnb. So good luck with that.
I'd nominate Leo.
I would nominate, great. I'll second that.
Caitlin, would you still be interested? Not to,
Well, this is like, if, as, are those other seats open if you are chair, vice chair? Are we trying to keep it spread out? Doesn't matter.
I don't think there's a rule one way or the other. I'm fine with, if you'd like to do both, that's great. By all means.
The question I had is, who's on long range planning? Is that a new?
No, that's old. Do we have a long range planner?
Long range planning committee
Hasn't
meet
met?
as needed. I don't think it's met in the past year or so. I don't remember who's the rep. And it's kind of telling if the individual doesn't remember.
I'll be happy to be on that one.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. I would be. You know, if they ever do meet, I show up.
We might have some experience to share with them.
So nominated.
So not seconded. All in favor of putting Brad on the long range planning committee?
That's like
Unanimous.
out on the ice.
That was easy, Brad. So ordinance committee, do we only need one or can we have two?
We only need one. We needed two because we didn't have a design advisory board rep, but they have since elected a rep. So we're down to one for DRB.
And we have two people that are currently on it.
That's right.
And Leo's trying to get off it, sounds like, looks like.
If you don't, I like it. I mean, it also barely meets, so.
Okay, let's do it. Well, we can do it two ways. You two can decide how you want to do it and let, or we can just vote and find out which one of you we like better.
Ouch.
Caitlin's gonna win that one.
You know, you consolidate power in the hands of somebody, it's trouble.
There'll be future years. Why don't you take it this year, Caitlin, and then we can decide next year.
Okay, Leo gives up his spot. I'll nominate Caitlin then to also serve on the ordinance committee.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. All right. That's it, Scott. That's tonight.
And Leo, we'd all lose to Caitlin in a popularity contest.
I don't know that yet.
What
So
was
we're
that?
done, Scott?
We're
agenda?
done.
Mary, we're done?
until September.
Mary, I said hello to you you were walking right by the pool place by Burton, and I said hello, and you just kept walking right by me. We have issues.
Wasn't me.
It was definitely you.
Wasn't me.
It's definitely you.
Well, now the challenge here is we've had meetings as short as 17 minutes.
Would be.
So there you go, new chair.
Just keep putting it on the consent agenda.
The measure of success, AJ, it's shortness of meeting.
I can beat that. We can beat that. All right. We'll talk in 2 weeks. Bye.
And thank you for your service, Brad.
Yeah, Brad, should we get you something like? No, I don't know. Can we get him something?
We're
I think that's
good.
your decision as chair, AJ.
All right, we'll look at our budget and see what we can
Yeah,
fit in there.
that's right.
Yeah.
The slush fund.
2-liter bottle of soda from not City Market, from Shaw's.
Okay,
See you
I
guys.
look forward to it.
All right.
Bye.
See you.
Yeah.